MotoGP 2025 has reached a critical point. After a brilliant start to the season, Ducati is now facing a major storm. In the last two races, the French and British MotoGP races, their previously unshakable dominance began to erode. But the storm reached its peak not just because of the bad results. A recording of an internal Ducati meeting was leaked to the public. The recording revealed a shocking confession from Marc Marquez, as well as technical debates that illustrated a crisis of confidence in the garage. What caused the crisis in the Ducati team midway through the 2025 MotoGP season? Let's discuss it, and don't forget to press the subscribe button. At the 2025 British MotoGP, Ducati's hopes of returning to winning ways turned into a disaster. The race was stopped due to a serious incident involving Franco Morbidelli, VR46, and Alex Espargaro, Honda HRC, which triggered a red flag. Ironically, this moment became a temporary savior for Ducati after their two heroes, Marc Marquez and Alex Marquez, fell in the early laps. The restart offered a fresh start. However, the final result was still far from expectations. Fabio Quartararo, who had dominated the race since the starting lights went out, had to retire due to technical problems. It was not Ducati who took advantage of this, though. Instead, Marco Bezzecchi, Aprilia, and Johann Zarco, LCR Honda, stole the spotlight. Marquez finished fourth, and defending champion Francesco Bagnaia fell. This is an unusual Sunday for us. Our performance is far from impressive, said Gigi Dall'Igna, Ducati general manager, in a firm tone, as quoted in Speed Week. This warning is no small talk. He called for a thorough evaluation of the GP25 motorbike's data and dynamics, which have recently raised more questions than answers. Everything came to a head when a shocking recording from Ducati's internal documentation series, Inside Ducati, was leaked to the public. The supposedly confidential video contains a rare and honest moment from Marc Marquez, the leader of the 2025 MotoGP standings. In front of Ducati engineers and mechanics, Marquez made a shocking confession. "This weekend, I was not careful with my comments," Marquez said seriously and worriedly in a technical meeting after the sprint race session. In a tense atmosphere, Marquez admitted that he had failed to properly convey his feelings about the GP25 motorbike's performance, a communication error considered fatal at the highest level of world motorcycle racing, where milliseconds can mean the difference between victory and defeat. Although the technical crew tried to calm him down and offer constructive feedback, Marquez remained adamant and continued to evaluate himself. He added in an unusually honest tone, "It was one of those weekends where you don't feel the connection with the bike. My comments were not very precise. That's why we reviewed many things. But this can happen." This statement was truly surprising. For years, Marquez has been known not only as a rider with incredible speed, but also as someone with sharp technical instincts and solid communication with the team. However, the reality behind the scenes is that the Desmosedici GP25 motorcycle still has untamed aspects that not even the 8-time world champion has fully conquered. This footage reveals the technical challenges Ducati is facing and shows that even a MotoGP legend like Marc Marquez can make mistakes. It also demonstrates that communication is just as important as speed on the track. The accident that occurred at the beginning of the Silverstone race took many by surprise. Marc Marquez, who was riding aggressively, had to slow down early. However, fate gave him another chance when the race was temporarily stopped due to a red flag. When he returned to the garage, Marquez did not make excuses. He admitted his mistake honestly. "I was going too fast," he said frankly, his expression reflecting both honesty and regret. But the story doesn't stop with Marquez. On the other side of the track, Francesco Bagnaia, whose position in the standings is slipping, seems to be losing his way. In the sprint race, he could only manage 6th place, and he failed to finish the main race. More concerning than the result are the words that came out of the defending champion's mouth after the race. "I braked. I entered the corner, but I wasn't confident," Bagnaia said in a frustrated tone. This statement confirms that there is a serious problem with the Ducati Desmosedici GP25 and serves as a warning signal. It is no longer a matter of adaptation or human error. Rather, it touches the core of the motorbike's technical design. The loss of confidence in the front end of the motorcycle is something that cannot be ignored, especially at the MotoGP level. Furthermore, Marquez and Bagnaia have been warning about this issue since the beginning of the season. They refused to use the new engine that had been tested because it was too aggressive and did not provide the rider with natural feedback. Now, complaint after complaint has begun to emerge, and the motorbikes they are riding are starting to feel like they are betraying them. The situation within the Ducati Lenovo team is heating up. Gigi Dall'Igna, the general manager of Ducati Corse, who rarely speaks publicly, finally intervened. His firm statement was aimed not only at the technical team but also implicitly at Francesco Bagnaia, the defending champion who is currently under pressure due to Marc Marquez's extraordinary performance. During a leaked internal conference, Dall'Igna bluntly stated that there is no instant solution to Bagnaia's problems. He emphasized the importance of adaptation and patience, suggesting that Pecco's repeated complaints would not accelerate the technical development of the GP25 bike. Although this statement sounds neutral, it actually contains a much deeper meaning. Ducati is starting to turn its attention to Marc Marquez. Despite having just joined the Gresini satellite team and not yet having factory rider status, Marquez has shown an extraordinary capacity for adaptation. In a short time, he tamed the Desmosedici GP23 and rivaled the performance of the GP25 used by Bagnaia. This strengthens the perception that, if Bagnaia's situation does not improve, Ducati will rely more on Marquez as the spearhead in the 2025 title hunt. In a post-race interview, Bagnaia himself admitted that he had a long discussion with Marquez. "We said more or less the same thing about our bike," he said. "The sprint was very difficult. I wore out the rear tire. It was tough." However, this confession reveals a striking contrast. Despite having the same technical complaints, Marquez appears more consistent and aggressive, while Bagnaia still seems to struggle with maintaining rhythm and confidence. Ducati engineers emphasized that if Bagnaia wants a motorcycle with the characteristics of the GP24, the team must redesign more than half of the GP25 package. That is not an easy task, especially in the middle of such a demanding and stressful season. In the fast-paced world of MotoGP, such a request is unrealistic and nearly impossible. As the team begins to fracture, Marquez's position is strengthening. He has support from the public, MotoGP fans, and now, some within Ducati who see him as a short and long-term solution. If Bagnaia's performance does not improve, the Ducati factory team may make the big decision to make Marc Marquez the main axis of their MotoGP project going forward. A new chapter may be about to begin, and Gigi Dall'Igna's ultimatum may be just the beginning. Marc Marquez is currently in first place, 24 points ahead of his younger brother, Alex Marquez, who rides a Ducati GP23 for the Gresini team. Meanwhile, defending champion Francesco Bagnaia is in third place, 72 points behind the top position. The leaked recording opens the public's eyes to how fragile Ducati's current dominance is and shows that even a maestro like Marquez can make a mistake in technical communication. In modern MotoGP, speed alone is not enough. The ability to read data, precise team communication, and full confidence in the motorcycle are the keys. Could this mean that Ducati is ready to make Marc Marquez the main project leader, replacing two-time world champion Pecco Bagnaia? Share your thoughts in the comments below.